Hi YouTube, my name is Nathalie and I am a former tech employee turned personal trainer. And right now I am not only rebuilding my career, I'm also rebuilding my finances. It's 2024 and my life looks something like this. I wake up at 4 a.m., do the usual morning stuff, make my gut health drink, walk the dog, check Instagram, and get ready to hit the gym by 5. I'm usually in the gym about 2 hours, so I rush home, shower, and by 8, I am on my laptop checking emails, getting into Teams, doing all my little morning rituals, and getting into the daily scrum ceremonies. Once a couple of hours have passed, it's usually time for meetings, chatting with people, looking over the backlog, all that good stuff that you do as a digital product manager. Lunchtime comes around, so I take a break, go walk the dog again, and I'm typically browsing at that point online, kind of putting things in my cart, taking them out, and get back to work. Throughout the day at work, hey, let me see what's on Bombshell Sportswear. Let me see what Lululemon's got. Let me see what Anthropologie's got going on. But all the while, I'm working, taking care of things. And by the end of the day, it's time to walk the dog again, get back inside, start winding down. And usually by 9 p.m., I'm back in bed where I do a little more shopping. By that point, I've probably made a purchase, go to bed, rinse and repeat the next day. That was my life for nearly 5 years as a mid-level, six-figure earning digital product manager. And I'd be lying if I say I didn't love it. I did. I relished it. I indulged in it, took advantage of it. And all the while, I knew it was fragile. And even with that awareness, I spent that six-figure income. The good times could never end. Buy this in cash, finance that, buy now, pay later, pay it off. And I do it all over again and again and again. Whenever I'd start feeling overwhelmed by all these different payments, I'd buckle down, I'd pay things down, and I'd get to a place where I was a bit more comfortable. But the itch would come back, and just like a shopping junkie, there I was back online filling the next cart. Literally, all it would take was just one YouTube Cezanne haul, and there I was again on PayPal, loading up the latest installment plan. But there is more to it. My financial mismanagement didn't start when I started earning a six-figure salary. I grew up in a family where our finances were extremely volatile. However, my parents were very secretive about just how delicate the financial situation was. And despite their struggles, they managed to put me in Catholic school. And so I very much had an awareness that I was not on the same socioeconomic level as my peers. But something I'm really grateful for that my parents did do well is instill in me a belief that I was just as worthy. And honestly, I was really smart. I had great reading skills. I had great comprehension. I was very good at logic and reasoning. And this allowed me to blend in and feel a bit more secure despite the fact that I was in such a different financial position. I could speak the same language. I performed well academically. And while it certainly wasn't easy for me, I was one of a few minorities and I was in a lower income status, but it did allow me to at least fit in. And I found a group that gave me a sense of belonging. And then something really pivotal happened. My uncle won the lottery. My mom is my uncle's only sibling, and so this really gave me a closer proximity to wealth and exposed me to a life that I began to really covet. I had nice things by proxy. I remember my junior year in high school, I had this really cute leopard Prada handbag that was made of calfskin hair. I had 7 For All Mankind jeans, the coveted Lacoste polos that everyone was wearing, totally dating myself there. And it allowed me to fit in even more seamlessly. But when I would go home, I knew the truth. I couldn't actually keep up. And for the past 20 years, that's exactly what I've been trying to do. keep up. The way I learned to do that was through debt. Going to college was a must. It was not an option to not go. So because my parents didn't have the financial resources to send me, what did I do? Federal student loans. Needed my first car, financed it. Needed furniture, store credit. Needed new clothes for interviews or for my first job, credit cards, eventually installment loans, eventually buy now, pay later. If I wanted something and I didn't have the cash for it, that didn't necessarily mean I couldn't have it. I just had to find a way to finance it. And the more income I earned, the more I financed because I didn't know any other way, which was true to a point because at some point I did know that there was another way, but it was like I just couldn't stop. I had spent so much of my life trying to keep up that when I finally began to earn an income that I honestly worked really hard for, I didn't use it to create financial security. I used it to prove that I belonged. Because I made six figures, I was exposed to opportunities my parents never had. I had the income to change my financial trajectory. And instead, I just repeated the same financial instability in a different form. My parents experienced financial instability because there wasn't enough money. And when they did come into money, they would always just spend it. I created my own financial instability by every time I earned more money, spending it. The earnings were different, but the feeling wasn't. There was this voice in my head saying, Nat, you can't keep doing this. By 2023, I saw it. The tech industry is changing. Remote workers are getting laid off in droves. There was no guarantee. And I would panic. I would watch Dave Ramsey, the budget mom, financial literacy videos, create a new budget, a few weeks, even months of good behavior. Then the itch would come. And there I was again, rationalizing. It's okay. You make enough money. You have enough time. You have enough runway. You'll pay it off. And for a long time, I did. And that was precisely the problem. My income allowed me to continually rescue myself from my own behavior without ever needing to change it. But here's the thing about things that are fragile. Eventually, they break. And in November 2025, that day came. It was a 15-minute HR meeting on my calendar, and I knew exactly what it meant. So when that meeting was over, I shut my laptop, I sat back, and I thought, okay, it's time. See, my passion has always been fitness. And in that moment, I knew that I was going to pivot my career towards building my online coaching and personal training business. I was excited, I was eager, but there was something menacing behind me. Debt. I was starting this chapter from zero. I was starting from behind. And suddenly the old adage that I was justifying my spending with no longer worked. I didn't make enough money. The income was gone. But I pushed forward anyway. I had enough savings to get through the end of the year, a severance, and I would be getting a bonus in March that would keep me going for at least another month or so. That was plenty of time and plenty of money, I thought, to build a business. But life has a way of humbling us further when we need it most and expect it least. Exactly 2 weeks after I was laid off, the 1.5-year relationship that I genuinely felt so secure in abruptly ended. I loved him. And in a cafe with the bright lights of Times Square right outside the door, he told me he didn't love me. All the hope, zeal, tenacity, and momentum that I had moving into the future was just crushed in that one moment. I was completely paralyzed by grief. My desire to build my business didn't wane, but my ability to push hard, create content, market myself, it just felt like I was pulling sandbags through mud. I did what I could, but having my heart crushed at 38 in such spectacular fashion, it just really hit different. I knew my financial reality, but I could only handle one catastrophe at a time. And in that time, my heart needed mending more than my finances. I did manage to get a part-time job at a personal training clinic, and that did help stretch my emergency fund a bit further. But as my heart started healing, the balances started shrinking, and I knew my financial reality was about to hit me like a freight train. Now, 8 months post layoff, I'm here. Not out of debt, not financially free, not running a six-figure business. No. In fact, my business is barely off the ground. It might actually be still taxiing the runway. And I'm working at that same clinic now full time, making not even half of what I earned as a digital product manager. So, has the thought of going back crossed my mind? Of course. But with the tech industry being what it is, I know that the job application process may take just as long as getting my business off the ground. And truthfully, I can't and have no desire to go back. I love training people. My heart is where I am now, in fitness. Helping people move better, build muscle, reshape their bodies, live longer. When I'm with clients, not thinking about my finances, I smile bigger. I laugh more boldly. I feel a genuine joy that not one single day in tech has ever given me. I did not expect to get so emotional talking about this. That doesn't mean that every day is easy or perfect. People are people. Some clients are easier to work with than others. Some days are really hard, but every client teaches me something. Every client is worthy, and every client deserves my absolute best. And not being fixated on my next spending high has also made me realize something. I never needed half, or honestly most, of what I purchased. Now I open my closet, I open my drawers, and I sometimes get this feeling of disgust. Why not? Why did you do this to yourself? How did I become the arbiter of my own suffering? Why did all of this stuff mean so much to me? And now, how am I going to build this business when I am so scared of financial collapse? Honestly, I don't have the answer. I'm in it. I'm in debt. I'm building. I'm scared. And maybe that's why I'm starting this channel, because from what I've seen, there are so many stories about how people get to the other side, but there's not a lot about when you're actually in it, while you're still in the process, really not knowing how it's all going to work. But I do know that I have this passion and this desire to change lives through fitness, and I have every intent to make that how I turn my life around. God put this on my heart many, many years ago at the age of like 18. And I chose the path that got me the income. But I can't play it safe anymore. So I'm not. Let's find out together how this all unfolds. Like, comment, subscribe if this resonated with you, and I'll chat with you again soon. Bye.